Welcome back to Green is Good. We're so honored to have Ari Hoffman on with us today. He's the COO of GOBIE h2o. Welcome to Green is Good, Ari.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm extremely excited to be here today.
Hey, Ari, this is your first go-round on Green is Good. It won't be your last. And so before we get talking about your great product, I want you to share the Ari Hoffman story leading up to GOBIE h2o and how you got even involved and what was your journey leading up to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess basically for me, I grew up in an extremely active family. We were raised outdoors. We were always traveling around to go, camping and backpacking, surfing, skiing. We were fishing all the time. And, growing up that actively involved in the outdoors, I was able to see firsthand the impact that, we humans have on our surrounding environment. It was there. It was in front of me. You can't go surfing without seeing trash floating by you in the water. You just can't do it. And I've watched that get worse as I got older. And so that's why I went into a field of sustainable architecture. And I wanted to change the way we lived, and I knew that construction accounted for a lot of the waste in the environment. But I quickly learned how long it took to get anything changed in the building world. It really was like, a slow-moving snail out there. And so that's when I found a home at GOBIE. GOBIE let me put the power back onto the person, where, sometimes we feel like, what can one person do? I can't do anything. I can't change anything. But when you say one filter is the equivalent to over 1,000 water bottles, people get it. So
let's get into that. For our listeners, I'm on your website now and on my iPad. For our listeners out there on their mobile devices or tablets or phablets or laptops or desktops and want to follow along while Ari shares his story about GOBIE with us, please go to www.GOBIEh2o.com. GOBIEh2o.com. Share with us, what is GOBIE? Explain the platform and the premise and the product to us, please.
Yeah. So on one side we have the brand, on the other side we have the products.
Okay.
As a brand, our mission is to act as a role model for responsibility and conservation. So what we've done is we've created hydration products that provide an economical, an ecological, and a healthy alternative to disposable water bottle consumption, while simultaneously we try and promote the efforts of other organizations that share in an aim to change the future for the better.
Gotcha. So what? So go on. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's all right. I was just going to say, from the product side, what we've done is we've created a portable, reusable, filtered water bottle.
Wow.
It's produced, it's manufactured, it's assembled all here in the U.S., and the bottle is BPA-free, it's dishwasher safe, it even sports the first 100% compostable filter out there.
Wow. So if I fill up that bottle with water and leave it in the back of my car and it's the sun shining in, it gets a little warm, there's nothing that's going to leach into the water from the bottle. Your bottle is free of all that nonsense.
Absolutely. It's not just free of it. There are actually people who can claim, we're BPA free.
Right.
That's at the state it's sitting in now. You put it in the car and it heats up.
Yep.
Well, now all of a sudden they're not BPA free anymore. They weren't wrong when they labeled their bottle BPA free.
Right.
But what they're not telling people is that's only at this state. That's not if you stick it in the dishwasher and it deteriorates. That's not if you get a hard-acting chemical on the product. So the materials that we use in the bottle, one, from the Triton plastic, it's not only extremely durable, so it's going to last you a long time.
Yeah.
The real properties of this product is that at 160 degrees in your car in Arizona, there is no degradation of the material. It's going to last.
Nice.
And even the thermoplastic elastomer, which is the squeezable part on the bottle, that's made from a medical-grade TPE. It's the same exact material they use in heart transplants. So there is no leaching of anything into the water. You can be assured of that.
So, I'm on the site. I love your site. There's so many great colors you could buy the bottle in. But I'm on the site that's showing all the different features. Can you run over the features, what makes you the differentiators from other bottles?
Yeah. So, for one, we're not a major corporation that's, trying to just make some money and put another product on the shelf.
Right.
You look at everything else out there, you can't tell one bottle from the next.
Right.
The bottles. So we spent 3 years in R&D making sure that we produced the most user-friendly, functional, and incredibly eye-catching bottle. I hate to use this example, but it's the perfect one. The iPhone didn't blow the market away because they did more than their competitors did. In fact, a lot of other phones do more. They did it because they were extremely easy to use and they were killer looking.
Right.
So we made sure to hide that functionality you're talking about underneath the form, where the bottle doesn't take any thinking to have to use it. It's a really natural experience. But really, from a technical standpoint, what separates us from the rest is our patents. And we spent a lot of time and a lot of money making sure that we were able to get these patents. And, we have design patents which protect the form of the bottle, but the real key distinction ultimately lies in the utility patent, which we have. And that patent protects our FlexFlow technology. And that's where we combine the durability of a hard shell bottle with the accessibility of a squeezable bottle. So that allows you to squeeze the water through the filter instead of having to suck the water through a straw system. Every other water bottle out there that has a hard, durable shell, they all, 100% of them, have a straw that goes from the top to the bottom.
You're right, yeah.
To suck the water through.
Right.
Straws in themselves are a safe haven for bacteria, especially when you put a filter at the end of it and you have trap moisture, right?
Right.
You can't drink them laying down. They have to be drank in the vertical position, so you can't have one on your nightstand and lay in bed or on the couch or at the beach. You have to sit up to drink from it.
Right.
Otherwise, the straw sticks out. You can't share it. You can't give it to your kid or give it to your dog on a walk. You literally have to suck it into your mouth and spit it out. But most importantly, it limits the strength of the filter you can put on the end of that straw. If you put too dense of a filter on the end, well, now we call it the frozen chocolate milkshake effect. You can't get any water through it. You're sitting there sucking, trying to get something out.
Right.
So we've got a lot of feedback from other people who bought the other bottles out there, and they end up being too much of a hassle to use. So the way we designed this bottle, we made it so that it won't end up in the cupboard with the rest of your, quote-unquote good ideas.
Right.
And like I mentioned a little bit earlier, is that we have the world's first fully compostable filter. Every other filtered water bottle out there has a filter that when you're done with it, it becomes trash.
Right.
And their notion is, well, at least you're saving a couple hundred water bottles from entering the environment. To us, that's a Band-Aid. It's not a solution. It was extremely important to us to look at the entire life cycle of the product, more from a cradle-to-cradle approach instead of the cradle-to-grave approach, meaning we wanted to make sure that we looked at what happens to the product after its use runs out.
And so what is it made out of the filter that it's compostable?
Yeah, so it's made out of a bioplastic called Cereplast, kind of like those forks and spoons you see.
Yeah.
And so what happens is it breaks down over time, plus the filter itself is compostable. So the cage,
that's amazing.
The entire cage, the plastic cage is a bioplastic. Now, that costs us a lot more money to make.
Right.
You look at the average price of a filter for a water bottle out there, for some of our competitors, it's pennies. I mean, literally pennies. Ours costs over a couple bucks to make, and I mean hundreds of times the price of these other companies. But it was important to us. With our bottle, you take it out, you put it in your compost, and then you can fertilize your garden with it. There is no waste associated with